Hello and welcome. So glad you tuned in today. We are going to be working on some Vinyasa flow yoga with some focusing on balancing. So balancing is one of the themes for this month here at Expedia in the fitness area, and we're going to incorporate that into this short 30-minute practice. Just focusing on how to stay balanced, using all the different parts of our body to incorporate the best balancing we can do. So let's go ahead and start on our back. We're going to start laying down, and once you arrive on your back, just go ahead and take a nice big, I like to call it a good morning stretch. So you're going to extend your arms overhead, reaching through fingertips and toes. And then as you exhale, let your body melt onto the mat. And we'll take these first few moments just to tune into the breath, connect to our intention for our practice. Maybe it's just as easy as finding this present moment. Maybe it is the idea of finding balance throughout our day, and by bringing in yoga between our busy day can help us balance kind of the crazy with some calm. Take another big breath in and extend those fingertips overhead and point those toes as far away from the fingers as you can. As you exhale, bring the knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug, squeezing the knees towards the chest and pulling them towards the heart. And then as you're ready, we're gonna let that left leg drift down to the earth, keeping the toes pointed to the sky. Bring that right knee in towards the right shoulder. And then as you're ready, let that right knee drift out to the right side. So this left hand can drop onto your left hip bone. And this is just setting up a little foundation so we know what we're doing when we finally get onto the earth and standing upright. So this right knee is lifted out to the side, and then we're going to bring it back in through center, pull it in again towards our chest, and then grab hold of that right knee with the left hand and let the right knee drift to the left. And then this right arm is going to extend out to the right, and maybe we gaze out at that right hand. So knee is going left, gaze is going right. Feel a nice stretch for the outer right hip. One more breath here. And then as you're ready, bringing that right knee back in through center, squeeze towards your heart. And then with kind of guiding your right knee, you're going to place your foot on your inner thigh, on your calf, or maybe on your ankle. And we're coming into a supine tree pose. So tree pose on our back. Extend those arms overhead. Maybe they come out like a V. And instead of pressing your right foot strong against that left leg, maybe just place it and press the right knee out a little bit more towards the earth. So this is a little kind of preview of what we might do on our feet. Engage through the core here and lift through the crown of your head. Take one more breath. As you're ready, bring it all back in. Bring that right knee in through center. Squeeze it up towards your heart, and then release that right foot down onto the earth. Extend fingertips overhead, and then we'll pull that left knee in and go through that on this side. Left knee comes in towards the chest. Right foot stays active as if it was pressing up against a wall. One more breath. Let that left knee drift out to the left side. Right hand is going to drop on that right hip. Nice deep breathing. Feel that opening in the inner thigh, keeping the shoulder blades on the earth. Take a couple more breaths. As you're ready, that right knee is going to shift back in towards center, squeezing it towards the heart, and then we'll let it drift over to the right. Left arm extend it to the left side, right, and then the left knee comes to the right side. So we're twisting and we're gazing out at that left hand. So gazing away from the knee. left foot anywhere along the leg. So we're not going to press it into the knee joint just for keeping our joint safe, but maybe dropping it to the inner thigh or to the calf, and then maybe just letting it rest and feeling the strength of that open left leg. Inner thigh is stretching, we're feeling strength in the hips, engage through the core as you lift through the fingertips. One more breath. And then let's go ahead and release that left leg. Both legs extend, arms overhead. Breathe, breathe, breathe. With the exhale, pull your knees into your chest and give yourself a nice deep breathing. And then we're going to go ahead and come over onto our tabletop pose. So you can cross your ankles over each other or roll to one side, come up and over, and then find your tabletop pose. So here we are, stacking our joints, shoulders, elbows, wrists, all in line, hips and knees stacked. Let's move in and out of some cat-cow, lifting the heart, rounding the spine, allowing ourselves to just move in a way that feels good. Couple more breaths like that, maybe some hip circles. Take another breath. Allow your neck and head to release. Just moving the spine gently. And then we're going to go ahead and press that right foot back. So the heel is going to press towards the back of the mat. And you're feeling the strength in your calf. Take one more breath here. And then let's go ahead and lift that right leg up. Inhale here. As you exhale, pull that right knee in towards the chest, around the spine. Do that 3 more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Reach. And pull it in. This time you're going to reach that right leg out, and then to focus on some balancing, we're going to bring that left arm out. Thumb is going to lift. So if this is too wobbly, always can leave that right hand down, that left hand down. We're still feeling the balance even when we extend just through the leg. But if you want to bring in another option, you can inhale here and then exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, exhale, engaging through the core. Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, 1 more. Inhale, and exhale. This time you're gonna reach, inhale, hold, exhale, bring hand and knee back to the earth. Let's go ahead and come in and out of a couple cat-cows. And then we'll go ahead and work on that on the opposite side. So, left leg extends back. So you're pressing through that left heel. Maybe the neck and head release so you can gaze back at those toes. I might lengthen through the neck. I might let it shake out, head and neck. And then let's go ahead and lift that left leg. Inhale here. As you exhale, pull that knee towards your nose. So this is still feeling that balance work. Keeping things steady, keeping the hips level. Inhale as you extend. Exhale as you squeeze. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. And exhale. This time you're going to reach that left leg back, and then we're going to extend that right arm forward, thumb lifts. Focus on the balance, engage through the core, keeping things stable. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, squeeze it in. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Pull it in. Reach it and hold. Exhale, both hands and knee to the earth. Let's come into a child's pose. Let your hips sink back. Forehead comes onto the earth. Allow yourself to breathe. Maybe the forehead gets a little massage on the mat, letting go of thoughts and distractions. Focusing on that intention. Bringing in balance into our body and our breath. One more. Inhale. Exhale it out. As you're ready, come up onto hands and knees. Let's tuck those toes and shift back into downward facing dog. So here we can pedal the heels, lift through the tailbone. If this is too much or not comfortable for your wrists, you can always come back into the tabletop pose, or you can come into a down puppy pose, which is you just extending those arms and letting the hips stay above the knees. So that's another option. Take one more breath wherever you're at. And then as you're ready, we're gonna walk our feet to the top of the mat, come into a nice deep forward fold. Inhale, arms, or inhale, hands to your knees or your shins, find that flat back. As you exhale, fold forward. Next inhale, swing arms all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Let's take a breath here. Notice our feet on the earth. Lift through the crown of our head. Exhale it down. We're going to go through a couple sun salutations. First, we'll start with our knees down on the earth, and then we'll go ahead and come into that plank pose and move through the flow that way. You can always do everything from your knees, so just options for movement. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Step back, right foot, then left foot. Bring both knees to the earth. Exhale, lower belly, chest, and chin. Inhale, low cobra or up dog. As you exhale, shift your hips back. Come through that downward facing dog. Let's do that again. Come walking our feet to our hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release it back down. Inhale, sweep arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Plant the hands, left foot back, right foot back. Drop the knees. Inhale here. Exhale, lower belly, chest and chin to the earth. Low cobra. Elbows by your ribs, staying in low cobra, or you can lift up if it's comfortable for your low back, or even farther. As you're ready, tuck the toes, shift it back down, facing down. We're gonna do two more. Walking our feet to the top of our hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, all the way up. This time you can come through a plank pose, or you can stay on your knees. Either way is beautiful. We're just moving and getting things going so we can flow and feel balanced. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step back, plank pose. Inhale here. Exhale, lower all the way or halfway. With the inhale, come through low cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, shift it back. Downward facing dog. Pedal the heels. Lift through the tailbone. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Forward fold. One more round. Inhale, hands to the knees or the shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep arms all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Step back, plank pose. As you're ready, exhale, lower all the way or halfway. Inhale, lift up, low cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, shift it back. Downward facing dog. Take a breath. Lift through the tailbone. Shake your head out. Next inhale is going to bring that right leg up. Reach it up high, and then if it feels good, open up that right hip flexor so the heel comes towards the glutes. Take a breath. Exhale, square the hips. Bring that right foot between the hands. Drop that left heel.
rise up, warrior two. So we're gonna have our hips towards that wide side of the mat. We're letting our shoulders relax. Breathe. As you're ready, flip the palms, reach it forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale. As you exhale, come through side angle pose. We'll do that a few more times. Inhale up. Exhale, release. As we flow, we can let go of things we don't need, and just kind of find that mobility, that balance between effort and ease. So balance between strength and softness. So our lower body is feeling strong, and our upper body is just flowing. Using that core to lift, and then coming back to release. Let's do it one more time. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Coming back into that side ankle pose, reach through those left fingertips, one more breath. And then as you're ready, we're gonna come into a low runner's lunge. So hands can come and frame that right foot. If you have blocks or books or a couple water bottles, something sturdy that you can use that's gonna bring the ground to you, you might wanna get that. You could pause the video and go grab that. So here we are in this low runner's lunge. Right foot is forward, bend deep into that right knee. Inhale as you lift up, exhale as you pull it back. A couple more times. Bend deep, pull it back. Bend deep, pull it back. Last one, bend deep. And then pull it back. This time as you come forward, we're gonna root down through that right foot. And then hands are on the blocks or the earth. Rooting through that right foot, you're lifting that left leg up. So here we have some balancing. But with using the blocks or hands on the earth, we can kind of play around with that balance if you want to. Make a slight bend in that right knee, bring your hands to your heart center. How does that feel? Take 2 more breaths wherever you're at. And then as you're ready, slowly, gently bring that left foot to meet the right. Come into standing pose. Hands by your side, coming into mountain pose. So here we're going to work on some standing balancing work, and this might look familiar to you from what we were doing on our back. So standing here in mountain pose, round your shoulders back, lift through the crown of your head. The one thing you're going to want to do is find a focal point. So we call it a drishti, or your gaze. So you want to look at something that's not moving. So if the screen and my motions are moving, you might want to find something else to the side, maybe right in the ground in front of you to gaze at so that you can keep that focus. So just find that point that you can look at that's not moving. And then we're going to root down in this left leg, strong, keep all the toes on the earth, and then bring that right knee into chest. So here, we can roll that ankle out, pull the knee in, and breathe. So you're gonna engage through your core, lift through your crown, and find that gaze. Yeah, nice deep breathing. And then eventually we're gonna just open that right knee up to the right. Again, this left hand can drop to the left hip, keeping those hips square. Nice, good job. Take 1 more breath here. As you're ready, let's bring that right knee back in through center. We're gonna take hold of the right knee with the left hand. And then this right hand is gonna sweep back. So now I told you to find your gaze, but this is gonna challenge the balance. We're gonna look back at that right hand. So slowly start to gaze back and maybe catch a glimpse of that right thumb. Pulling that left knee as far across the body as you can. Take 1 more breath. Let's bring that right arm back over through center, pulling that knee towards chest. And then, if your leg and ankle is feeling strong enough, you can come right into that tree pose, or you can take a moment to find your footing, and then drop that foot into your tree pose. So inner calf or inner thigh. But you might want to see where the foot lands without helping it. And then we're gonna just lightly touch that right foot to wherever it lands on the leg. Engage through the core, pull in through the pelvic floor, maybe lift your arms up. Again, now you find that gaze again. Take 2 more breaths. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Hands to the heart, feet to the ground. Let's go ahead and take some big hip circles, allowing those hips and legs to wiggle it out. Nice. And then let's do that all again, leading with the left leg. So first, inhale, arms up. We'll move through a flow to kind of wring it out, and we'll come into our downward dog. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to knees or shins. Exhale, fold forward, plant those hands. Step back into your plank pose or bring the knees to the earth. As you're ready, lower down all the way or halfway. Inhale, low cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, shift it back. Downward facing dog, lift through the tailbone. Let your neck and head release, nice. Next, inhale, lift that left foot up and back. Open up that left hip if it feels good. Heel towards the glutes. Maybe that right foot drops a little bit closer to the mat. Take 1 more breath. As you're ready, square those hips. Bring that left foot forward between the hands. Drop that right heel. Windmill arms open. Coming into your warrior 2 with your left knee bent. Finding that nice deep bend, nice deep rooting. Strengthen that lower body. And then we'll go ahead and flip the palm. Reach it forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior. As you reach, you're inhaling. And then as you exhale, let's bring that left elbow to the left thigh. Come through your side ankle. So like we did on the other side, we're gonna flow. Inhale up, exhale down. Finding that strength, stability, balance between effort and ease. Just moving with your breath. Maybe you have music on, maybe there's things going on around you, but you're just flowing back and forth, keeping your legs and lower body rooted, letting that upper body flow. Let's do it 2 more times. Exhale. Release. Last one. Inhale. And then exhale, bringing that left elbow to the left thigh, right arm reaches up and over. Breathe, breathe, breathe. 1 more inhale. And then as you exhale, let's come into that low runner's lunge. So that nice deep bend in the left knee. And then we're gonna flow here, lifting the heart up. Exhale, pulling the hips back. A couple more like that, bend deep. Exhale, pull it back. A couple more, bend deep. Pull it back. Last one, bend deep. Pull it back. And then as you're ready, we're coming into that nice deep bend in the left knee. And then when it feels right, you feel stable, lift that right leg up. So coming into these standing splits, maybe the hands are lightly on your blocks. Maybe you work that balancing in and bring your hands to your heart. Feeling the wobbles, owning it, knowing that that's totally normal and expected. We'll take 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. As you're ready, gently bring that right foot. Shaking it out, coming into your mountain pose. So we're gonna root down now through this right leg and bring this left knee in and working that balance on this side now. So roll the shoulders back, find your stability, find your drishti, so your gaze, and then you're gonna bring that left knee in to chest. Squeezing it in, maybe pulling that ankle out. As you're ready, we'll let that left knee drift out to the left. Yeah. Breathing in and out. Hands. Find stability. Find that drishti. 1 more breath. Bring it back in through center. Squeeze it towards your heart. Let's take that left knee in the right hand and then we're gonna peel that left hand back. maybe pulling that left knee across the body as we try and gaze back at that left thumb. Take 2 more breaths here. Balance, balance. And then let's go back through center. Squeeze it in. Let's bring both feet on the earth before we move into our tree pose. If you're able to swing right into tree, go ahead and do it. I'm gonna start with my toes on the earth, building up from the ankle, and then just dropping it here on the calf. We're not gonna press against the knee joints again, keep our joints healthy. Finding that drishti, and then lifting arms when it feels comfortable. So if we can engage through the core and pull up through the pelvic floor, it's gonna help lift that upper body. It's gonna help with that balancing work. Take 2 more breaths here. Relax the shoulders as if you're holding a big ball. Inhale. Exhale, hands come back to heart center. Release the feet. Let's do that little wiggle of the hips. Letting it go. Feeling the release we might need. Yeah. Let's go ahead and move through a flow. And we'll end up in child's pose. So you can skip the flow or move through it at your own pace. Knees up or knees down, you choose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it forward, plant the hands, step back, plank pose. Always the option to drop your knees as you exhale, lower all the way or halfway. Inhale, lift up through low cobra. Up dog, exhale, tuck toe, shift back down, right facing dog, good. Take a few more breaths here. Let your neck and head release. Let's bring the knees to the earth, big toes touch. Forehead to the mat or a block or a pillow, whatever you have. Again, finding the balance between effort and ease. Let's take 2 more breaths. Taking a few moments here to just release. And then making our way onto our back. We're going to bring the feet to the earth, grab hold of the knees, and just kind of roll on your spine. Another opportunity for balancing onto the back, feeling the massage. And then balancing on those hips, the tailbone there. And more like that. Let's go ahead and lower ourselves all the way down. We're gonna finish up where we started. So bring those arms overhead, toes point away. Nice deep breath. As you exhale, bring those knees into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. Squeeze it in. Maybe massage that low back. Out, making some big circles, and then maybe holding on to the outside of the feet and coming into a happy baby. It might feel good to extend one leg and then the other. Maybe bringing the soles of your feet together and pulling your heart forward. Whatever it is you need to feel complete with your practice, go ahead and do that now. And then allow yourself some time to release completely on the earth. Maybe coming here for 10 breaths, maybe staying here as long as you're able to. For our practice, we will stay here for a few more moments. Breathing in and out. Honoring the body and the breath. Connecting to that balance of effort and ease, allowing ourselves to feel the benefits of our practice. Offering gratitude for the land, offering gratitude for the practice of yoga, and offering gratitude for our body and our breath that move us in and out of each and every day. You're welcome to just stay on the earth and release. If you'd like to come to your seat for a few moments of seated meditation, seal our practice. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands hands to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. May this practice nourish you and carry you through your day. Namaste. Thank you so much for tuning in. There's more videos like this on this channel. You can subscribe or just keep checking back. I hope you find balance and peace